After picking up its first Empire 8 win of the season, Buffalo State made its first ever trip to Utica's Charles A. Gaetano Stadium in just a second meeting between the teams. The Pioneers are coming off a 26-21 loss to Ithaca, while the Bengals snapped a 4-game losing streak with a 60-28 win over Frostburg State. For Bengals running back Rich Peete, it was his first time playing in front of his hometown crowd, and they filled the stands in bunches. Check out the signs. This will be the only time Rich Peete will ever play in Utica. Neither team could cash in on their first possession, but the Pioneers drove deep into Bengal territory in their next drive and almost scored a touchdown. But Anthony Acevedo couldn't maintain possession when his back hit the ground, and the Pioneers were forced to settle for a 22-yard field goal by Thomas Woodburn, giving Utica an early 3-0 lead. The action picked up in the second quarter where Connor Buckiewicz threw a pass a little too high for Anthony Acevedo, who could only get a hand on it, tipping it into a diving Chris Hall for the interception. This play was a huge momentum swing and is my catch of the game. Looking at it again, Hall does a great job of tracking it down and getting his hands underneath it to secure the pick. The Bengals cash in on the turnover with a Casey Kacz 1-yard quarterback keeper for the score. Kacz has now rushed for a touchdown in 4 straight games, and the Bengals are now up 7-3. The Bengals held the Pioneers to a 3-and-out in their next possession, but Ryan Cowell was called for roughing the kicker, and the penalty created new life for Utica. Just 2 plays later, the Pioneers would retake the lead, taking advantage of blown coverage over the middle on a 25-yard play-action pass from Connor Buckiewicz to Jamie Murphy for the score. Pioneers had a chance to add to their lead before the half. With 8.8 seconds left, Connor Buckiewicz threw a screen pass to Jerry Beniquez for a 21-yard gain. The Pioneers managed to get a timeout call with 0.3 seconds left to set up a 37-yard field goal try, but freshman John Carnegie broke through the middle and got a hand on it. Taking another look, a high snap gave the Bengals more time to get through, and Carnegie made them pay. However, the Bengals opened the half with a 3-and-out, and Thomas Woodburn got another field goal try, making this one from 38 yards out. The Bengals responded on their next drive, going deep into Pioneer territory on his 32-yard pass from Casey Kacz to Billy Joyner for a nice acrobatic catch. The Bengals scored in the next play with their hometown kid, Rich Peete, taking it to the left and using his track speed for an 11-yard score. Here's a Kodak picture moment. After Peete gives the ball to the ref, he points to his family in the crowd. The Pioneers returned fire in the fourth quarter when Ryan Burnett found a cutback lane over the middle and took it to the house for a 22-yard score. With a 19-14 lead, the Pioneers decided to go for the 2-point conversion, but Connor Buckiewicz got flushed out of the pocket and his pass fell short of Anthony Acevedo. The Bengals answered back on their next drive with Casey Kacz threading the needle to Isaiah Clark for a 27-yard score and a 20-19 lead. The Bengals decided to go for the 2-point conversion, but Mike Doherty couldn't get enough separation from the corner and the ball fell to the ground. After Pioneers 3-and-out, the Bengals scored in the first play of their drive. Casey Kacz sent a strike to Mike Doherty, who ran 58 yards down the sideline for the score, and after the extra point, an 8-point lead. On the Pioneers' next possession, Connor Buckiewicz got a high snap and mishandled the exchange to Ryan Burnett, resulting in a fumble. Eddie Weiser picks it up and returns it for a 16-yard score, pushing the Bengals' lead to 34-19. I hope you didn't blink because the Bengals just scored 21 points within the span of 1 minute and 21 seconds. Attempting a 15-point comeback, the Pioneers drove to midfield, but their drive stalled when Connor Buckiewicz underthrew his target and Mitchell Thomas came up with an easy interception, the first of his career. The Pioneers didn't score again, but I had to show you this hit on their final drive. Often confused with Sherman Nelson in the live stats, Ronald Dupree nailed Sean Jones. Remember his name, Ronald Dupree. Let's take another look at this hit. It's Ronald Dupree, not Sherman Nelson. Enough said. The Bengals stopped the Pioneers on 4th and 8 to get a turnover on downs, and on offense they would run the clock out to win the game by a final score of Buffalo State 34, Utica 19. Casey Kacz passed for 276 yards and finished with 3 touchdowns, 2 passing and 1 rushing. Kacz also ended up tying Dan Sansanese for the school record of most career rushing yards by a quarterback. He had 762 yards between 1981 to 1983. Rich Peete led the Bengals rushing attack with 72 yards and a score, while Mike Doherty led the receiving corps with 6 catches, 103 yards, and a score. Now on to the post-game reaction.
I've had high expectations of this team since January. And in some ways, it's a little bit disappointing that we are where we are. I know the guys are disappointed, but they've got the opportunity to make sure that they don't have a losing season. So I think they're working towards that. So this was a great team victory for us, and I hope that we can carry that into next week.
At one point, this team was down 19-14, but they bounced back. How were they able to do that?
Well, that's called perseverance. Kind of staying with it, having great belief in each other, AJ, and I think that that's a testimony to good football teams, to any good team, regardless whether it's football or whatever team it is. There's a bunch of guys who are playing together, believing in each other, and just kind of a refuse to lose type of an attitude.
And then Casey Kacz broke the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, didn't know that, but nice to see him have that. But and I think Casey will be the first one to tell you that any individual accolade is a team accolade. Because he wouldn't have those yards and statistics without the other 10 guys who he's surrounded with. So I love individual accolades, but primarily because it's a team accolade.
You know, it means a lot. Right now, you know, I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really focused on that. I know when the season's over and everything's done, I'm done playing, I'm going to enjoy having that record. But right now, it's just about winning games, and I was happy we got the W today.
That touchdown pass from you to Mike Doherty was huge in this game. It was a big momentum change. How did it change momentum for the team?
I mean, being up by only one score, you know, it's still a very close game. Or sorry, I don't know if we were up by one score yet, but the game was still close. And when we called that play, we had a feeling it was a good play call, and Doherty made a great catch, a great run. The O-line gave me plenty of time. They blocked really well. And scoring that touchdown gave the whole sideline momentum because our defense, you know, knew we could score, and that gives them confidence to go out and play and get stops. So they ended up getting some stops, which is big for us.
And obviously, you guys won the first 2 games of the season, lost the next 4, and now you're looking to try to win 4 again, just like last year. Why is this team so streaky?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just a lack of execution during a couple games, which I think it was. You know, we had a couple games against Utica and Alfred that we could have won, and it was a couple plays here and there that changed the outcome of those games. If not, we're looking at being 6-2 right now, which is a lot different than 4-4. But you know, we have a new goal like we did last year, is win the last 4 games of the year, and we got 2 down, we got 2 to go.
You know what? We just wanted to have a little bit of revenge last year. I guess they were saying they're a lot more physical than us last year, so we wanted to come out and prove that, you know, we're more physical.
And I saw, obviously, on the play that you returned for a touchdown, the guy just basically just dropped the ball. Can you describe what happened on that play?
Yeah, you know what? It was outside run, so I was flying over the top, and next thing I know, the ball's on the ground, so I picked up and ran with it.
And basically, that gave you guys a 2-score lead, and the defense just didn't give anything back up.
Yeah, no, our defense, we knew that the game's not over until the final whistle blows, so, you know, we went out there and still played hard.
How many fans did you have in the stands here supporting you?
Probably about 20 to 30 plus. Yeah, it was a lot.
So what's it like, though? Because this is the only time you're ever going to come back home to play a college game here.
It felt good, you know. It felt good playing in front of my family. It felt good playing in front of my friends. And it felt good playing in front of Buffalo fans. It felt good being home. And, you know, obviously I wanted the ball more, but it was a passing type of day, and this is a team game.
And last year, this team was 2-4, ended up winning 4 straight, finished this season 6-4. Currently, you're halfway there at 4-4 right now. What can we expect in the next 2 games against Hartwick and St. John Fisher?
You can expect the same. You can expect us to come out with the same intensity, the same hunger, the same desire to win. You know, we may be down, but we're not out. We're going to keep fighting until we can't fight anymore.